Hey, welcome back. Hope everybody doing great. I'm here today again to share some insights in the EWM Monitor, SAP EWM Monitor. We already saw what is the EWM Monitor, how many cool reports you can get out of the box, all standard, no custom development needed. We also saw how you can set up your own layout so you actually see the data that you're most interested in and you get the most value from, and how you can sort, filter, and export in Excel the data that you find and display in the EWM Monitor. Today we're going to have a look at a few more very useful functionalities of the standard EWM Monitor, and I'm talking about the hyperlinks, the actions that you can do. So not only display, you can actually do things, execute, operate within the monitor. And finally, we're also going to see the logic of the hierarchies of different data and how you can navigate these different hierarchies as you're walking your way through your EWM Monitor report. Let's jump into the system and let's have a look together. First things first, let's enter the monitor. So the transaction is /n/SCWM/mon. You can also find it here in the menu. If you go main menu, logistics, SCM, extended warehouse management, inside you can find EWM monitoring and the monitor right here. So let's double click. And here we are inside the monitor. You remember in the previous video I was hiding some of the nodes of the standard SAP monitor, but you can always check as you click. I tend to say to the small man smiling, it's really not smiling, but there's like a small person here. You click on it and there's default values of the monitor transaction. So we're again in warehouse number KT01 and we are using the standard monitor SAP. We don't have a custom made monitor. And in here, as you know, if I click show hidden nodes, I can see all the nodes that I've hidden last time because I didn't want to see too much. I wanted to declutter, make it easier to find the nodes I'm most interested in. So I just hid all these hidden nodes. And now I have only a few things. My outbound folder with outbound delivery orders here, my inbound folder with inbound deliveries here, and my warehouse tasks in the documents, and finally stock and bin. We have storage bins, physical stock here. These are some of the most used nodes, as I've already said, but let's jump into the action and let's talk about the actions you can take on data that you display in the EWM Monitor. For example, let's assume we're searching for some specific storage bins, and let's assume you not only want to see if the bin exists, what is in the bin, but you actually also want to block the bin for putaway, so nothing else can be added to that bin. How would you do that? Well, first of all, let's find the bins. I'm just going to search for all the bins within this warehouse to have a look. What do we have currently in the warehouse? And here in stock and bin folder, I can find the report storage bin. I will double click on the storage bins. Once again, I have a selection screen. So this allows me to select specific bins, maybe bins that belong to specific storage type, or maybe bins that have a specific name, or that where the name contains a specific string, or any other of the data that belongs to the bin. As I said, right now, I'm just going to search for all the bins. Therefore, I'm going to click execute here, and I'm going to see the result of all the bins in my warehouse number KT01. Let's search. Searching for the bins. All right, I see some of the bins here. Let me use the full screen. As usual, I'm gonna click full screen on, and here I have all the data of the storage bins. Again, I see some of the data maybe not so interesting. Not all of this I'm interested in. I could create my own layout, but I already did that in the last video. I'm not going to do it again. Just a reminder that you can do it. And let's see, first of all, I'm curious to see which bins actually have something. You see here there's an empty flag indicator. I'm going to move it to the left just to be able to see it nicer here. So I see only 2 bins actually have some stock inside. And below you see this is the last line. Indeed, this is a training system, so there's very, very few bins inside. We're just playing in this system. actually how many bins. Let's have a look here on the far right. You see we have a counter. There's only 16 bins total in this warehouse number KT01, and only 2 of them have some stock inside. The rest is empty. If I wanted, for example, to check what's in the bin 0020, I could select this bin, and what I usually do is I click on physical stock. I click on physical stock because that allows me to see all the stock, whether it's still available for picking, or maybe there's a task that is open, ready to pick some of these goods. Whatever the case, this is physically in the bin right now. And in bin 0020 010101 in storage type 0020, there is something. There's 112 kilos I see, and indeed there is one material KT underscore material 6, and the quantity is 112 kilos indeed. Stock type is F1, unrestricted stock type. We have the owner, the party entitled to dispose, and other useful information about this stock. One more thing is, if you want to display the data in an easy to see, in more understandable way, instead of reading the whole line as I did, of course I'm used to it, so no problem for me, but when you're starting or when you want to analyze a specific line, you can always switch to the form view. The form view button is right here. So what you do is you select one line and you say, hey EWM Monitor, please expand this one line to the whole screen so I can properly read all the data in an easier way. Click. Ta-da! We have the form view. You can zoom as well, so you can adapt it as you need it. And indeed here we see the storage bin number. It's exactly the same information. You see the storage type, the quantity 112 kilos, stock type. You have the same information, but it's displayed on the whole screen, so it's much easier to read. For example, here there's no country of origin linked to this specific stock, and there's no quality inspection document, so there's no quality inspection ongoing on this stock. If there was, there would be a reference to the inspection lot right here in this field, for example. All right, so a lot of useful information that the monitor can provide, and you already saw now there's some hierarchy here. So let's talk about hierarchies before we try to block this bin. Okay, so when I say hierarchy, I mean hierarchy between data that is being represented in the monitor. What I mean is, for example, if you think about it, the bin, the storage bin, can have some stock inside, and the stock can have, if managed, can have serial numbers that are associated to that stock. So there's a certain hierarchy of information. You have storage bin at the top, you have a physical stock, and then you have serial numbers. Also, sometimes you might have the physical stock that, instead of being directly in the bin, can be in a handling unit, where the handling unit is a container, a packaging, basically any type of container that can store goods that is placed in a bin and that can be moved from one bin to another. A typical example is a pallet. A pallet can be a handling unit, or a case. A case can be a handling unit, but also potentially a barrel or any other container of goods that has the goods inside. So for example, a definite hierarchy could be that the storage bin has a handling unit inside, and the handling unit has physical stock, and physical stock can have serial numbers associated. You see where I'm getting? Basically, there's a hierarchy of the information that is saved in the system and that you can navigate using the monitor. So if I start from the storage bin here, I see that I can jump in the physical stock, and that's what I did. And here below you see data is represented, what's inside that storage bin, the physical stock level. And if I click again the serial number button, basically what I'm doing is I'm asking EWM Monitor, hey, is there any serial numbers linked to this stock of 112 kilos of this material that is in this bin? So let's do that. And as I click on it, since we only have 2 parts of the screen and I'm deep diving into the details of the physical stock will move up as a higher level, and the serial number information will be displayed below as a lower level information. Let's do that. Let's click on serial numbers, click, and indeed check what happened. The physical stock that was earlier below is now above. Physical stock, the same information is now above, and below we have information on serial numbers, and you see that no objects meet selection criteria. That literally means EWM Monitor tried to read any serial number associated to these 112 kilos, but since this is not serial number managed product, it has no serial number information, and therefore this is empty. If I want to go back now and see again the storage bin and the physical stock, I just need to press the back button, back, and here we are, we're back. We have the storage bin on the top, we have the physical stock on the bottom. So once you get used to it, you can really quickly navigate through the objects. For example, from storage bin, I can check if there's any handling units. I can also check if there's any warehouse task open for this storage bin, and then I can check the available stock, and from the available stock, which means it's stock that actually can be picked, and in this case the entire 112 kilos are available, as you can see. And from available stock I go to physical stock, available stock moves up, physical stock is here down, and again I can go to the serial numbers, and basically I can navigate the information as I please. But now I'm going to go back to the storage bin, so one step back, we're back in the storage bin, and what I wanted to show you here is really the action. So now that we understand the hierarchy and how to navigate, it's interesting to know that the EWM Monitor is not only a reporting tool, is not only data visualization tool, it's really also operational. You can do things here in the monitor, so you can take action, for example, to block a specific storage bin for Putaway, for example, to change some attributes of the stock, for example, to create or confirm tasks that you can display in the monitor, or create tasks for an inbound delivery that is yet to have the Putaway tasks created for. All right, so it's really cool because of course you can go to dedicated transactions for task creation, dedicated transactions for storage bin display where you can block them, but at the same time it's so powerful because you can display the data you need, you can navigate, and you can immediately take action, everything within the monitor. That's why it is my favorite transaction in EWM. So how do we block a bin? Well, first of all, how do we even see if a bin is blocked for Putaway or not? When you block a bin for Putaway, that can happen in normal business situation. For example, if you have a leakage of water on the roof and there's some bins that maybe have some water dripping from the top, you want to block those bins, not make them usable anymore for a certain period of time until you fix the leak. Or maybe there's a physical problem with the bin itself, something happened, you can have the need in normal warehouse operation to block a specific bin. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, how do you see if a bin is blocked? In the monitor you have these columns: stock removal block and Putaway block. These indicators tell you if the bin is blocked for Putaway, which means I cannot bring anything into the bin anymore. I cannot add anything into the bin, but I could still be able to pick from the bin. Or if the bin is blocked for stock removal, that means I can put things into the bin, I can move stock into the bin, but I cannot remove stock from the bin. There's different reasons why you might be blocking for Putaway versus blocking for stock removal. In this case, the bin test is blocked both for Putaway and for stock removal, as you see the X. Great. So if I wanted to block bin 0020 010101 only for Putaway, how can I do that? Well, you select the bin, you go to this small cube, it says more methods, it's actually a method. I say also action, but it's really method in SAP EWM lingo. And as you click on the small arrow down, it opens up a menu telling you all the methods, actions you can take on this specific object. So right now we're on storage bins. What you can do on an individual storage bin is you can display it. It's going to open a new window showing all the information of that storage bin in the dedicated transaction for the storage bins. You can edit the storage bins. It's going to open the storage bin transaction in edit mode, so you can change attributes of the storage bin. You can block the bin for Putaway. Here we are. So if I click this, the bin will become blocked for Putaway, and we won't be able to add anything anymore into that bin. And we can also unblock for Putaway. In a similar way, blocking, unblocking for Putaway, we also have blocking, unblocking for stock removal. And once again, if you want to block both for Putaway and stock removal, you can simply say block over all the bin or unblock over all the bin. Now that you understand how it works, you can see there's more actions. I'm not going to go through everything right now, but it can be really, really useful to perform basic activities directly here in the monitor without switching, without going somewhere else, and directly working in the monitor. So let's block this bin for Putaway 0020 010101. Block for Putaway. Let's go. Done. And as you can see, the Putaway block is now active, and therefore the bin is blocked for Putaway. And if I want to unblock it now, I would just go again, methods, unblock for Putaway. And here we are, bin is unblocked. Great. So I want to make another example of just what you can do. And what I will do is maybe I can go on the physical stock. And here on the physical stock, if I select now more methods on the physical stock right here, you will see that the menu is there, but it is different from the storage bin. Why is the menu different? Well, it's a different object. It's different data that you're working with. This is physical stock. The one before was storage bin. It's clear that you can do different things to different objects. To the physical stock, you can, for example, change the attributes of this physical stock. You can change alternative units of measure that are used during warehousing operations. You can potentially change the stock type. So you can, for example, move from unrestricted stock type to block stock type, or in general, you can change the EWM stock type. We might talk about EWM stock type another time, but for those of you who know, you know it's a fundamental information of stock in EWM that is also reflecting back on ERP side, telling ERP in which planned storage location this stock can be found on the core ERP side. So very important information on the stock can be changed and updated directly in the monitor. So very, very useful. Maybe I can just click just to show you if I want to change attributes. A pop-up would appear, and directly here in the monitor you can say, hey, currently the goods receipt date of this stock is 2nd of November 2024, and the goods receipt time is 3 a.m. 54 minutes 6 seconds. There's no shelf life expiration date on the stock itself. There's no country of origin, and there's no certificate number. If I wanted to change any of these, for example, I change country of origin. Let's put, what do we want to put? Let's put Austria. Okay. AT is Austria. I execute. And now you see the country of origin that is here, and it was blank a moment ago, is now Austria. All right. And changes have been accepted. Great. So basically, you get my point. You can really perform activities, operations in the monitor, and it's really cool because it enables the warehouse operator, the shift lead, the people who are using EWM to immediately act on the data they see. Few more things is, one more thing I want to share is the hyperlinks. The hyperlinks is literally anything you can see that is underscored, that has a full line beneath it. For example, every bin you see there's a full line below, and also here the product has a full line below. You see that? It means that this data that is represented is clickable, and if you click on the data, it's going to open a new window in the dedicated transaction to display information about the value that you see. So for example, if I click on the bin here 0020 010101, what will happen is that a new window will pop up and it will display the bin. You see the bin here in the dedicated transaction to display storage bins. So very useful, because now here potentially there's a little bit more and more detailed information compared to the monitor that is giving the overall picture. For example, here on the bin level you can see if there's any warehouse task open here, or you can see what was the last physical inventory that was done. So no physical inventory was done yet on this bin. You can see the stock that's in the bin. Yeah, here we see our 112 kilos, right, of KT material 6, and you see the information of the stock. You can even select the stock and check the detailed stock information like this. So yeah, it can be very useful to be able to navigate. I'm going back to the monitor to be able to navigate from the monitor very quickly and smoothly to the specific information that is displayed. For example, also the material, if I click on the material, it's going to open the dedicated transaction in EWM to display the material, the product. And here I can see, for example, all the indicators. Right now I don't think there's much populated on this product, exactly, it's blanked. But here you can have the put-away control indicators, the stock removal control indicators, all the other relevant product master data information that is stored in EWM. All right, let's go back. And I think those are the most important information I want to share about the actions, the hyperlinks, and the navigation hierarchy. I hope you are enjoying it. I have one last super useful piece of information. One thing that people ask me often is, hey Milos, I really like the monitor. It's nice that I can hide the nodes, but I would like to make my own node, maybe have a quick way to do a selection, just quickly be able to run few reports without having to set up the layout, without having to do the whole selection, you know, and input all the data all the time. And maybe there's certain reports that operationally I need to be running over and over again that I just want to be able to quickly access. All right, and this is something that we will share in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I look forward to see you very soon in the next video. All right, enjoy your day. Bye.